I'm Todd Johnson. Today, I'm joined by Professor Hank Lodge from Texas A&M
Thanks for having me.
and historian Stephen McCann from Phoenix, Arizona.
Pleasure to be here.
Today, we'll be discussing the hot topic of immigration in the United States. Professor Lodge, tell me exactly how the issue of immigration has affected the development of the United States.
Well, immigration is the backbone of our nation. We have the United States of America, and each state has a large population of immigrants, and many of our citizens are descendants of immigrants. About 40% of all Americans are descendants of actual Ellis Island immigrants that passed through there. And it started all back in the 1600s with the Puritans and the English that set up the colonies here, and it passed through. And after the rise of Catholic, Irish, and German immigrants in the 1800s, nativism rose, especially as the Know Nothing Party started in Boston in 1855. And as time went on, as Asian immigrants came, the Chinese Exclusion Act was passed, and that excluded, unfortunately, Chinese immigrants from coming as a result.
From what I understand, one of the most controversial acts concerning the issue of immigration was the Immigration Act of 1924.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Johnson. The Immigration Act of 1924 set quotas, which prevented many immigrants that wanted to come to the United States for a better life during our boom time of the 20s from actually coming. Each year, they set a number where only certain percentages of a population from the 1890 census were allowed to come into the United States. And this caused a large problem as it was unfair, and it prevented many immigrants from Southern European and Southeastern European nations from coming, unfortunately.
Now, how long exactly was this act in effect?
The act was actually overturned by Lyndon B. Johnson during his presidency, and following that, we saw an influx in immigration from Southeastern Asian nations due to the regional conflicts taking place. And then in 1986, Ronald Reagan signed the Simpson-Mazzoli Act, which granted amnesty to over 3 million immigrants in the U.S.
Now, in the last 20 years or so, following the turn of the century, how has the issue of immigration been handled?
Well, an important thing to look at is the Obama administration, where he extended the DREAM Act of 2001, as well as including the program DACA, which is the Deferred Actions for Childhood Arrivals.
Recently, Trump has spearheaded the immigration crisis in the United States, as in 2017 he passed the controversial executive orders, two of them, both titled Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the United States, which banned immigration from 8 countries, mostly predominantly Muslim. And this has changed the dynamic of immigration and what it means to be able to come into this free nation.
In recent years, the focus of the immigration crisis has been illegal immigration. What are some of the implications that illegal immigrants have in the United States today?
Well, first of all, Todd, being an illegal immigrant is a crime. It is a crime to cross our borders illegally, not go through the proper processes through the Homeland Security's Department of Immigration and Customs. And this causes a great problem as our workforce is heavily influenced by the presence of legal immigrants in our nation. Actually, 17% of our workforce is immigrants, many of them illegal immigrants. And although it is widely known that many of these illegal immigrants take jobs that are undesirable, it changes the dynamics of how the wealth is spread, especially since these illegal immigrants are undocumented and are not paying the same taxes that all of the American citizens are. And so this changes the dynamics of how capitalism is occurring through our country.
Today, you hear more and more about illegal immigrants' involvement in gang violence and the distribution of narcotics in the United States. To what extent is this a real threat?
Well, it's a great question, because while the stigma is definitely negative surrounding these immigrants, and it is absolutely present in many areas, you have to look at the bigger picture and just see some of the greater reasons and some of the influences that it's had that maybe are less negative.
It is definitely clear to see why this issue has so much controversy surrounding it. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you for
Of
having
course,
us.
thank you.
Now we will cut to our own Matt Lauer on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona, who's taking a deeper look at the issue of immigration. You serious? Could we get Jack to do it? And now, intern Jack Miller with his Channel 4 News debut on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, I'm Jack.